the idea is to share with you our experience in the technology, as well as the application that we have dealt with our partners throughout the world. For example, we have been power at least 6 to 7 companies, they KYC throughout the world. They're India, in Europe, and in Indonesia, for example. So we do have quite a bit of experience in case you think you want to do the same thing and then you have questions, doubts, or whatever, just feel free to interact with me. But anyway, so first up, I just want to show you a workshop without a demo is too boring. So, so I would try to do a demo. It's a cloud bank. I have a bank account with the cloud bank, okay? So I'm gonna log in with my face. It's a typical way to do so. So this is my app. It's gonna turn off. And it captures my selfie and then put it back to my bank account. Gee, I'm rich today. That's pretty good. So that's the idea of the biometrics. It's so intuitive. You know, taking a selfie is everyone knows how to do, okay? And the idea is to use the same experience for your eKYC process as well, okay? And before I do that, I just want to share this opportunity to talk to you guys about how the technology can be used for a lot of purposes. For example, you see the speak to agent. If you are a banker, you know that you have a big support center. So your customers might call you up, say, well, I forgot my password, I forgot my PIN, I have problems, and so on and so forth. Or they call support center for whatever reasons. Then you have to make sure this is the person who is at the other side. So you ask, oh, may I ask you security questions, okay, and so on and so forth. Before they actually talk to you about serious things, you spend about at least 2 or 3 minutes before you can do that. And sometimes you just say, you know what, I just need this, okay? But the idea is, if the bank offers an app, this is like the key to the support center. Now you can talk to the call center, of course, but I'm not going to call the call center in this case. And it just say, well, yes, I have been authenticated. I know, the system knows I'm Ho Chang. I've been through scanning the face, making sure that I'm alive. It's not a photo from someone. And as well as a multi-factor, this is coming from my device, which I register with a bank, Credit Suisse, whoever, okay? So it's a multi-factor authentication. So the other end of the call center, if they still do human interaction, the person can say, well, Ho Chang is on the other line. They can pick up its IP telephony, of course. They can interact with the customer. So in this case, you cut short right away, although a lot of those process to KYC the customer. Make sense? So this is why an authenticator is like Google Authenticator, but Google's Authenticator is like your wallet is wide open. It's different, okay? Google Authenticator does not do anything. It just allows you to store the PIN every 20 seconds or so, right? But this is not really authentication in our opinion. Authentication must be, we know who you are, right? So this is exactly what it is. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to do something very interesting. I'm going to transfer 1,000 to another account. I do not know who that account belongs to, but of course, that's why I want to do so. But this is where the point of truth. If you say, well, we're talking about micropayments today, like e-wallet, something like that. So if I want to transfer like 50 euros to someone, it's a very small amount of money, then I don't think we have to go through all the hassle to get strong authentication. But if we say, the bank said, well, if the bank said, well, you set your limit. If 1,000 euro is the amount that you want to be very sure that it gets out to the other person, you want to be authenticated. So I can now say, well, instead of keying a ton is the transaction authorization number, which is still used in many banks in Europe. And I remember I used to have for my bank, a list of ton list. And I have to cross out every time I use it. It's like, yes, what is it? Okay, but this is how they did it. And you know why I switched to the other bank? Because they use SMS to do that, to replace that. Because I always forget my ton list at home. So if I want to do some money transfer when I am on the road, I can't. This is why I switch over to the other bank. So think about it. User experience is really one thing when people decide to change to a service provider. Okay. But anyway, if I want to transfer 1,000, of course, usually there are a few steps you can do. You can say, well, we need to send a push notification to the customer, and you want to say, well, you want to have the customer to be authenticated with the face, or maybe plus voice as well, because it's a substantial amount. I'm broke. I do not have more than 1,000 or maybe 5,000. 1,000 to me is a lot of money. So I want to set my threshold in such a way that I know I can escalate my authentication or my security level. Make sense? This is how it should be. Because today, as of today, the online transaction does not really care. No matter you transfer 1 million euros or you transfer 5 euros, the authentication process seems to be the same, right? They ask for your username, password, and send you an SMS, whatever, and then you do it. That's what it is. You should be able to justify your value of transaction because it matters, right? Because for me to give away 50 euros, it's okay. But 1 million or 1,000, to me, is a big thing. So you should be able to do so. So I'm going to transfer 1,000. Let's say I do something differently. I transfer 100 for the matter. So I try to recognize my face. You can see that. I hope it still works. It's a demo, okay. So the user interface is not perfect. We're not designer, okay. We provide the technology. So I just transfer 100 euros to the other account. But you see, I only have one selfie taken. That's it, right? It's a very quick, fast face check, and money goes out. It's a quick transaction. By the way, this is not done on the device. It's live. I'm using the Wi-Fi to talk to the server in Ireland at the moment, okay? So the latency is insignificant nowadays, okay? I do not think a lot of people argue, well, I want to do it on device because going to the car, coming back is time-consuming, but which is not true. And considering we do not do video conferencing, remember I said in the morning, the beauty of doing live detection is you do not need video conferencing. Imagine in India, for example, the bandwidth is so low, then you want them to do authentication via video conferencing. It's impossible, because this is why WhatsApp is so popular, because it assumes low bandwidth for the majority of the population. Anyway, so that's 1,000, well, 100. Let's say if I want to, whoops, let's not do it that way. Go back again. It should. Well, I enter some number, just for God's sake. It's a demo again, okay? So I want to enter 1,000, so which is a little bit more. So the system knows that, okay, 1,000 is 10 times more. I want to be authenticated. We call stronger authentication or step authentication. Then you watch me how I authenticate myself. So I'm done. I'm going to do it. So the system's going to look at my. See that I have to move slightly. This is live detection. There are many ways of doing live detection. You can do blinking of your eyes. I like Google, always you blink your eyes and then, open your mouth or something like that. But this way, it's very intuitive. You just move slightly because human beings will not be there forever still. They always move something. So this is live detection, okay? So this is one step up already. Because 50 euros is okay. If they have my blinking photo, yeah, they can steal my 50 euros from my account, fine. But if you want to steal 1,000, sorry, okay? This is the protection. You can do it on the fly. That's the beauty of it. And your system decides for it. Now let's say I want to transfer 1,000, 10,000, how about that? 10,000, okay. That's more substantial. I will be broke because it will be all I have in my account, okay? So in this case, we do what we call live detection plus challenge response. It's a very strong authentication that you actually acknowledge that you want to do so. And watch I will do. See that I have to follow the direction because the system says that, well, now please look up. If you have a video of me, you look down, sorry, it will fail. So you have to follow the prompt from the system. Of course, it's randomly generated. Okay, let me do it one more time without following the random generator so you see why it fails, okay? So let's do it one more time. I go there, I do it. what was it? 10,000, right? So I do it one more time. I'm going to do it this way again. See, I do not follow the transaction. That says a very important factor in our term called user consent. If I walk to the door, if the door has a camera to open the door, if I stand there, the camera has a glimpse of my face, it opens the door. Do you want that? You probably don't want that. Only when the moment you want the transaction to take place, this is when you want to initiate the transaction. So user cooperation is very important. This is why it comes to the point when you talk about non-repudiation. This is the moment that you want the user to consent. And we have the technology to do user user post estimation. We know how you behave in a way. And then you define how you want to cooperate with the system. For example, you can say, well, if the head moves up, I can have the video move out, okay? I can have a picture move out now. You can fake it. It won't work, okay? But if you're afraid that it is still open because people can see the system, which direction the system asks you to move, right? You can define your secret movement. If the head says move up, you define yourself move down. So nobody can figure out how it is. It's a secret hint. It's like when I go out with my good friend, best friend, and we go to dinner and we run into another guy, and then this guy said, "Well, tell you what, I have a joke, I have something for you about Ho." And then I say, no. I give the person a hint. This is exactly what it is. A hint to the system is called secret pass hint, whatever you call it. A few years ago, we did a demo for IBM. Do you remember IBM? I do not know if they still make ATM machines. About maybe 15 years ago, we did a demo together with IBM for a bank in New Zealand or in Austria. And they say, well, we want to create the future generation of ATM. The idea is very simple. And you can imagine the progress, evolution of our financial service industry. At that time, they said, well, when a person comes to the ATM machine, his wallet is wide open, right? Yes, he logged in, he can spend money. So they want to prepare another monitor to show you, wow, you forget the football game on the weekend. You want to buy it, just press a button, you can buy it at a discount price, 10% off or something like that. So this is the idea, but then they are afraid about, wow, what happened if somebody know your card and they know your PIN code, they can crack it, they will steal your money to buy a lot of stuff from your account, okay? So they were concerned. That's why they said, well, we want to use facial recognition. Okay, we said, great, we can do it. We put together a proof of concept for them later on. But then the guy from ANZ Bank, they said, well, it's not so nice because if I know you use your face to go to ATM and withdraw the money, I stick a gun to your head, go there, stand in front of the ATM machine, and then the money will speed up, just like that, okay? So this is what the secret hint comes in, okay? You can nod your head differently. You can blink your eyes. At that time, eye blinking was not really the case. We can do gaze tracking. Gaze tracking was designed in the early time for fatigue detection, for drivers, for example. If they are very tired, we did something for Toyota, for example. They want to make driving very fun and safe to do. So if you are tired, your blinking rate changes. You realize that. So at that time, we said, well, it's simple. We just blink the eyes so the system knows, oh, so sorry. And then it would display. Actually, we did the display. So sorry, your daily limit is over. Please try again tomorrow, okay? You save the customer from any harm, and then you protect the money from the customer. But then they say, no. They say, you should not blink your eyes. What do you do then? We have this, what we call pupil tracking. We have a lot of technology, but we are not making them into use. So you roll your eyes once, but do you roll your eyes very frequently? No. Only when your friend is trying to tell an embarrassing story about you, you say, no, right? You roll your eyes, right? So you roll your eyes. So there are a lot of interaction you can take from the user in that sense. This is how we evolve our technology in this. Of course, today I'm not going to bore you with all those background, but of course, I will jump to the KYC part later, okay? So let me just finish off so that I'm going to try again by following the prompt. I hope they had to be intuitive enough for people to follow. Everything is OK. Now it's done, OK? So now, so much for that one. So this is the eKYC part. And we know very well that, yeah, I said earlier in the morning that a lot of companies come to us and say, well, we really want to know if this is a live person because, you know, like, I'm not a robot, but I know this guy has my video or he has my face or something like that. He is afraid. Most of people, when they say about, when they ask, hear about biometric banking, they are very scared. They feel like it's spooky. Oh, yeah, it's not nice. If somebody has my face, they can do banking. They can steal my money, which is not true at all. This is why live detection comes in, okay? So I'm going to do a live detection. You realize that this is a live demo. There's no video session. Even though the camera is turned on, it's locally on the device. You can use an iPhone, Android. You can use an IP camera or door terminal, whatever you have, a kiosk, doesn't matter. Because the video is a thin client. It's a stupid client that captures the image. Your server, your bank server, has everything. They decide, they make the decision. Okay, this is the difference. You probably heard about FIDO. FIDO, right? FIDO, they say, well, Metro device, Apple Pay, they use the fingerprint. This is a different philosophy. They say, well, your device is your terminal for authentication. So our device for authentication can be anything, but the server does make the decision. Okay, so I'm going to do a live detection. You realize I only capture 2 images. So it doesn't matter how I move. The reason I do it slowly for the demo is to show you, yes, there's a slight movement. Okay, that's about it. Okay, so 2 images, and this is exactly what you sent. Capture 2 selfies. That's it. And we're working on the next release will be we only need 1 selfie. I've seen a lot of people, they use our technology, they actually really take it as a selfie, especially women, ladies, they like it. Oh, selfie, money's gone, okay, too bad, right? So this is the idea of user experience. It's simple selfie, okay? Now, the fun part, the KYC part, I have my Swiss ID here. This is, they do not replace your picture, by the way. It is an e-passport, e-ID card that there's a chip inside that can retrieve my digital image. But it was taken like 11 years ago. They still use the same. If you take a closer look, I will show you in a sec, it really does not look like me. Until now, I tell you this is me, then you know this is me, okay? But if it's not, then it's very difficult for human being to know, wow, is this the same guy, right? We're not talking about if this is a fake card or not. No, I mentioned earlier, we are talking about the ID holder. If this is the person, this picture is me, okay? This is the thing. So I'm going to do it. I already scanned the photo. I can do it later if you want. I also have a demo of the same using the iPhone. If you guys had an iPhone, you feel free. Scan the QR code, you download the app, you can try it out, okay? It's simple, okay? Anyway, so I'm going to try to do so. I'm going to capture from my album because I already did so. Okay, but this is not the process that you'll be doing. The KYC process must capture live, always, okay? You must turn on your camera and capture it, okay? I'm going to do a simple one by taking one of the pictures here. See, I have several pictures here. The left one is this card, okay? And the bottom right, this one, this is the same photo taken from the chip, the digital image. And then the other one is like 20 years or so ago. Yeah, my passport photo. That's me. Yes, I look different, don't I? And the middle 3 are just my Canadian driver's license. Okay, so you can pretty much capture all those things. I'm not going to use the time. I think there's a company, Sardan. They are doing this capturing. You can do it's more or less the same thing. So you capture the ID card, and then So I'm going to check. For example, this Swiss ID card and prove to you that if I am the same person and to what likelihood. One thing is a myth of biometrics. Biometrics is statistical science, okay? Everything nowadays in our life is statistics science. AI is a statistics science. Data, big data, what is it? It's statistics. If you have enough statistics data, you can do a lot of analysis, right? Am I making sense? So this is what it is. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to use the system to prove if I'm the holder of the ID card, and then I also show the likelihood, the false acceptance rate, the percentage. So your system can decide. If you want to open a regular current account or something like that, you say, well, a percentage of false acceptance of 2% is okay. But if you want to apply for a platinum, I don't know what kind of account you want to, or you want to do a transaction that's it's very important, that you probably want a higher level of assurance, and you probably want to have a lower FAR. FAR stands for false acceptance rate. The other side of it is false rejection rate. Like I'm the person, but the system say I'm not a person. So this is the terminology. Okay, so I'm going to do this and capture this one. Now it asks for, oh, we need to capture the selfie to make sure you are the same person. I'm going to do the same thing again. Yes, I captured 2 selfies. It may take a little bit because of the resolution of this one and the bandwidth here. It goes through, it only received 3 images. Don't forget, 3 images, okay? The first image is the ID photo, and the other 2 images are the live selfies, okay? The live selfie will be first checked if these live selfies came from a live camera. It's not a replay. It's not like somebody download your LinkedIn photo or using a photo in front of the camera, try to fake it. First thing what you do, this is exactly, it's very important, isn't it? Okay. The second thing is, once you pass the live test, then we match your face against this selfie. See, it has an FAR of 0.1% false acceptance, or 1 out of 1,000. This is pretty much the NIST standard that they say, well, if you have reached 0.1%, this is considered to be good and high accurate enough, okay? So now, if you look back, this is exactly the images that you sent. Remember I talked about anonymity in the morning? These 3 images will be sent over to your server. Your server will do the matching. You toss them away because you should not keep them. In Europe, you can only keep anything, video, images, for no more than 28 days. Okay? I don't know about Bahrain or in any other country. They probably have different regulation, okay? Because they have to keep the data for auditing purposes, for a lot of purposes, for legal reasons, okay? They have to be able to trace back to make sure that this is a graded case, okay? But they have a latency of up to 28 days in general, so they will be tossed away. This is 0 footprint. And there are 2 servers. One server is the bank server. The bank server collects all the data. You notice that I did not show the whole image of your ID card. Do you know why? Because it's very important that I said you have to isolate the biometric as a service as anonymous biometrics, remember? From the user management. If I scan the whole ID card, what do I get? I get a lot of stuff. I know this is a Swiss ID card. I know your date of birth. I know your address. I know the number. I know a lot of stuff, right? Which is not good. This is PII, right? So in your implementation, you should separate them. You capture the ID card for legal reason because your government says you have to capture the whole ID card. And then you have to analyze if the holographic images on color are genuine. They are not coming from Thailand, whoever who make fake cards, okay? So you have to make sure the authenticity of the card is okay. And at the same time, you transfer the number to the Interpol database, Interpol whatever, to make sure that this is not reported stolen, or this is not reported as blacklisted number, okay? So those are a lot of information going on at the back end, in the back end, okay? But what the biometrics is doing, the part is doing is to ensure that this photo matches these 2 selfies. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? Questions? Which is very important in terms, because we are based in Germany, we know it. Sometimes we figure out, well, in Germany, we cannot do much of business because there are a lot of people are paranoid. They say no biometric, blah, blah, because they are very conscious about privacy. But this is how we grow, because we understand the concern of the customers. We know how to do it. This is why we created this anonymous biometric as a service from the beginning. We never touched anything else but anonymity from the beginning, okay? So I think when you talk to your customer, it's the same thing. We use biometrics to match your ID. We want to make sure that nobody can fake your ID. If somebody stole your ID, they cannot be successful. And don't worry, because your data will be safeguarded, because there's nothing you will store at the back end depending on your policy or privacy policy, okay? Okay, now the fun part. I remember I mentioned about the 20-year-old picture. I'm going to bring it down again. This is I will show you. Can you see from there? Yeah. My wife thought she liked this better because I was younger. But anyway, so I want to prove it. Of course, the score might be lower because God is very fair. We go O every day, okay? This is how we go edge banding. We get wiser, right? And of course, your likelihood, if you do not learn over time, it might be lower because that was the only chance you were given. You know what? If you walk in the street and the police walk up to you and say, well, show me your ID. What do? You search for ID. And the police say, well, this is too old. Give me another one. They can select to choose the one that most resembles you or most recent of you, right? But sometimes you don't have a choice. For example, if I only have this ID card, if your government do not change your ID card once every 5 years or once every 10 years to that limit, you probably have no choice but to accept it. The legal ID is always defined by the regulator. They said, well, you can only use driver's license. Sorry, you have only one choice, okay? You use a driver's license. If you talk about driver's license in the States, I know you're from the States, in California, in every state, they have their own way of doing a driver's license. Some are very crazy. So you cannot have a standard. So it will be pretty much impossible to have a very good score. I have to tell you the truth. You will not be able to get a very good score. But of course, there are ways to do it. Thanks to artificial intelligence or machine learning, we can learn the document. We can learn much more. This is why I say human being might be good, but there's something can learn better. We can train our engine better, but we're still better than the engine because we train them, right? So you can still do better and let the engine do better. This is what I'm going to do now. Okay, I'm going to show you how I look in terms of this 20-year-old picture. See, I look very serious because one thing about this photo is this is what I call ICAO photo. You know what ICAO stands for? International Aviation Organization. Like passport is regulated by ICAO, okay? They said, well, your photo must be 360 by 240, period. Your eye distance between the two eyes must be 96 pixels, okay? And so on and so forth. That's pretty good. It's still 0.1%. That means I'm the person, okay? My wife would be happy because she knows it's the same me. The ICAO specify the photo in such a way it is vendor independent. This is very important. You have your passport. It's called electronic passport. I know in Bahrain you have an electronic passport, right? There's a chip, there's a symbol here, right? It's called e-passport symbol. That means there's a chip there, store your digital image. Can you just send any image, any photo of you, selfie this way, that way, to the passport office and they do it for you? No way. There is a standard called ICAO standard. As I said, it must be, your face must be so much distance from the side, and the eye distance must be 96 pixels, and your eye must level no more than 2 degrees. It's very strict. Not too many companies in the world can do that because it's very strict. Why they go all the hassle to make the photo so strict? Because if I go to the States, they say, well, we want to check if this is your passport. They have only one chance. They're going to read the photo off the chip. They're going to match the photo against you. They're not using our technology, so they might have problem, right? So, but they say, well, we have to prove that this is really you. You can replace the photo, the analog photo, by any means. You probably are good in art, you can do it, but you can never replace the digital image. This is why there are regulation in some countries like Estonia, they only have digital image. So they will enforce you to do KYC using an NFC phone. So you can read off the chip using a Samsung phone, for example. You can read the image out of this, okay? You can do that, okay? Because this image was regulated, or is regulated according to standards, and it's not easy to fake. You can fake the passport, you can never fake the chip, the IC embedded in the passport, okay? So now I show you a 20-year-old picture. Of course, it's me. You might think I'm very subjective because it's trained like me, right? So I'm going to pick up another photo, which is my friend Marcel. Marcel, he's our partner in the Netherlands, okay? I want to match against him, okay? I might match him, maybe very low level. You know, I hope not, but it's very likely you have people, there are similarity between people, right? And it's like when I look at, sorry, I'm not recognized, focus, fail. I know when I first came to Germany, and they said, well, I have difficulty telling you guys apart. You Asians look alike. And I tell them the same thing, you Europeans look alike, right? So from our eyes, we cannot tell much of difference. But thanks to technology, you don't have to worry about that. So, of course, we tell people apart. It's not a fake, it's real. I'm not Marcel, who is a Dutch, okay, I can try my brother's photo, but I don't have it, okay? But you can try it out, it doesn't matter. So the idea of deep learning neural networks is phenomenal because it changed the way we look at things. It changed the way we look at data. Images are data, but how do you train the engine to be able to be smarter than you are? This is how we run company. You want to deploy the best people than you are. I'm the CEO, I hire the best people better than I am, right? The same thing, you have a company, you're a bank, you want to deploy the best technology that you can make the technology work better, right? So you have to look ahead. So it might sound interesting, it's not in your roadmap, but do think about it because I think eKYC is here to stay. It will be here for a while. And the scanning of your photo is going to be for a while. I told you that there will be more and more digital identity in the world. It's coming. It's coming. And until then, you still have to rely on the technology to do so for you, okay? And one other thing is about the password. Remember I said, when I use my face, did you see me typing in my PIN number? No. Because I don't even remember my PIN number. So when there's nothing to remember, nothing to forget, right? That is the best philosophy that we think for you guys who implement security measure is to not burden your customers with PIN code or 16 characters, capital letter, lowercase, or something like that. Those are, but of course, I'm telling you, even Google and other companies saying, well, they want to ditch passwords, but they will stay for a while. I would say at least in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see it for a while because people the user acceptance is very important. If I tell my mom passed away already, she used to have a bank card with a PIN code. And I know the PIN code right away. Of course, you do, right? You know your mom's PIN code. And say, well, at least I have my card. You don't have my card, right? Even though you know my birthday, you can never. So they still feel comfortable about something they have. If my mom said, well, I changed my PIN code, which my wife did because I set up her MacBook a while ago. I said, well, I need a password to log into your MacBook because I need to install something. And later on, I tried to log in. I said, I couldn't log in. Haha, I changed my password. People still feel comfortable because there's something they know that you do not know. So password will still be a way of being part of you. Okay? So you still feel comfortable. So this is exactly the side point, but I think the future is here to stay with biometrics. Biometrics is not rocket science, as I say, and it's very friendly technology. And see what I did. I had fun taking selfies and logging into my bank account. I show everything to you guys. And this is what it is. I hope it makes sense. Any questions? It's supposed to be a workshop, of course. Yeah.
Will this work with me? If I try it out?
You can try it, of course. Yeah. You can try it later on. Yeah. So anyone can try. Oh, you can download. If you're on an iPhone, you can download it. I only printed a few copies because I do not know if people are so willing, keen to participate. I tried once with a workshop, and none of them tried. They said, oh, I don't want to try it. But they did it afterward. They sent me an email, oh, can you let me download the app? But you can try it out. You can try it over here. Okay. Yeah. Questions? We're supposed to make the the workshop interactive. So questions, anything, doesn't matter because I'm here. We have a lot of enough experience to be able to answer your questions. Yeah.
Where are you in development? When can we expect a working prototype for the bank? Are you able to bank?
We actually have banks using them. Yeah, and at the moment, there are two phases. Banks are very conservative, of course. Most of them start with live detection because live detection is something it's dragging them crazy. So they're using our live detection. By the way, talking about technology, okay, we know what you're doing. This is what we do for a living, okay? We have competitors come to us, license our live detection, okay? We have competitors using some competitors' technology, but they do not have live detection. The bank comes to us and say, well, can we use the live detection? So it's already there. It's been in production since 2016. Yeah. 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 Well, the main objection, especially from our German audience, is the privacy thing. And they say, well, I send things over the air to your server. Okay, this is what they are concerned. But then there are a few things I mentioned. Okay, let's say take the obvious scenario. For example, I told you in the morning that I lost my passport. I have nothing. But fortunately, I have a friend who can verify who I am. But if you lost everything, you tell a bank, you know what, I still have $1 million in your account, but I lost everything. I lost my phone, I lost my bank book, whatever. And the bank said, well, how can I trust this is you? If the bank is able to verify who you are because the server has your template, they will go to one-to-many or one-to-few to look up the likelihood of you to claim who you are, to identify you. And that's what they think, oh, okay. If I throw away my iPhone, I buy a Samsung S9, I have to re-enroll again, right? So the privacy thing is really subjective. You know, it depends how you look at it. Yes, I have everything on my phone. I am in control. But if you think about you yourself as a service provider, do you think the normal people is technical savvy enough like you guys to look after your device? Do they lock your phone, their phone? Do they share the PIN code? No. You have to know that your customer's device cannot be trusted. This is the first assumption any chief security officer would tell you. You cannot assume the security of your device. You have to make sure that this is not trusted. This is why the thin client concept comes in. You cannot assume anything, no footprint on your device. Everything must be done on your server. It's like your user management. If you tell the bank, Credit Suisse, my bank account is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they have everything about this account. They can decide whether or not this is you or they can do anything for you.
Are you working with any crypto KYC companies that are doing crypto asset?
Crypto asset? We do not know if they use it for crypto asset or not, but I know they're using it for KYC. The end application, usually we have no way to tell because they use it for KYC. They use our API and they know what they're doing. So I know there's a company in Japan, they use our technology for a game industry, okay, for pachinko. You know pachinko? It's like ATM machine, they use it for pachinko. So we do not know exactly the end solution will be like, application will be like, but yes, it's all related to KYC and live detection. Yeah. Yes? Yes. Well, yes, this is a question of the service providers. You can combine both. If I am a bank, if you have a phone with iTouch or Face ID, use it to protect your app. So I know I have Credit Suisse account, Credit Suisse, and then they use the FIDO to protect the app. You have to use your face and to open the app. But when you do transaction, they still do the second step, authentication. So you can do it that way, but the technology that we offer three technology. We offer three biometrics. We offer facial recognition. We offer voice recognition, which I don't show here because voice is a little bit uneasy, uncomfortable for a lot of people. And the third one is what we call periocular. If you go to hospital, every nurse or doctors are wearing surgical masks. We only look around the eyes. If you look at your face, the richest characteristics of your face are surrounding your eyes. Okay? If you go to the square and then there's a comic artist, in 30 seconds they sketch a comic figure of you, a face. Yeah, it looks like me. You know what? They capture your eyes first. This is how they do it. It's not your hair, it's not your shape of your face, the contour, no. It's the eyes. So we do periocular. We can do iris as well using regular camera, but we do not do it because your iris must be visible in order so we make it comfortable. So we only look at periocular. So of course you can use it for medical healthcare, and you can use it for people who are wearing winter scarf or something like that. In an outdoors environment, I want to open the gate to enter and I have to put down my scarf. It will be so. We have periocular, we have face, we have voice. And those three use regular sensor, camera that you already have. But if you want to use fingerprint, it's what we call sensor-dependent technology. You need a fingerprint sensor. If I have an iPhone 4, it will not work because iPhone 4 does not have a fingerprint sensor. It's a sensor-dependent or hardware-dependent technology, okay? So that wouldn't work. This is kind of technology you should avoid because you should not try to ask a customer, do you have an iPhone? You don't have an iPhone, sorry, you cannot do banking. Okay, you cannot do that. You have to allow people to use it. So the best way is use face or voice. Yeah. One comment about voice is a lot of people, especially old people, they do not know what to say because voice is what we call speaker verification. You choose a phrase. For example, if I say, Ho Chang, that's my phrase. It's my name. If you say Ho Chang, it will not recognize you because it's me. My voice has the characteristic of me personally. But the old man, we try to be people say, what do I say? So this kind of user experience you should try to avoid. They forget. Oh, did I say open sesame or what? They forget, okay? So you don't want them to remember anything. Just show their face. That's the easiest way. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. You could. Yes, you could. There are two ways of doing it. It's a bit integration issue, okay? If I'm a bank, I want to offer biometrics. There are two ways to do it. The easiest way, of course, you use the API. It's like 20 lines of code. If your programmer is good, he can do it in 30 minutes. It's very straightforward integration. This is ideal, like Twitter. Twitter is the most used API in the world, the app in the world, okay? And it's a Twitter. So you use it when you need it. You capture the image, you transfer to the server for recognition, okay? This is what you do. So this is one way, the easiest way, the recommended way. The other way, of course, is like Google Authenticator. That's the one I just shown you. This is the banking app, the one you mentioned. This is the authentication app. So the authenticator, you can, if you are a authentication as a service provider, you could do that. There are companies are doing that. I know there are companies are doing a KYC as a service. You know that? KYC as a service. So their job is to do the KYC offload from your department. They do the KYC for you. Okay, this is KYC as a service. So this is like KYC as a service app. Your app will call the app, The app will do the KYC, all those things for you, and return the result to you that this guy is perfect, he's clean. And then you move on to the next steps. So it can be two apps type of thing, or it can be integrated into your own app. Did I answer your question? Yep. The demo? Oh, yes, by all means, yeah. I just have to make sure I check out by 5 o'clock, that's all. So, yeah.
How this regulator look from the risk perspective? Maybe like, some, the fraud happens at your application, but then it goes to now from your front-end app, and then it goes to another scheme, and then you interact with another scheme, the payment goes.
Yep.
Within few seconds, it can go to different schemes, but funds can transfer. So in that case, how this European,
yes,
how the regulator